The first time I time leaped, I thought it was a miracle. I died in a hit and run. A truck came out of nowhere, its headlights turning my whole world white. I barely had time to process the pain before my vision darkened. The cold pavement pressed against my cheek, and I could feel the blood pooling around me. People screamed. The sound was distant, fading. My body refused to move. My eyes flickered open one last time, just enough to see a shadow stepping onto the road. Someone knelt beside me. A man. I couldn't see his face, but I heard him whisper, "You weren't supposed to be here." And then everything went black. The next time I opened my eyes, I was in a classroom, a familiar classroom. My heart pounded. The cheap plastic desk, the old wooden floor, the half-broken ceiling fan above me, lazily spinning in circles. I knew this place. I'd been here before. I looked down. Small hands, a school uniform, and on the chalkboard, a date was written. 12 years ago. I nearly fell out of my chair. I was back. I had traveled 12 years into the past. At first, I thought I had gone insane. I staggered to my feet, frantic, panicked, shaking. My classmates stared, confused. A few laughed. Someone whispered, "Is he okay?" I wasn't. I ran. Out of the classroom, down the hall, past the confused teachers. My shoes skidded against the polished floor. I burst through the front doors, gasping. The city looked the same. The air was warm. The streets were busy. But something about it felt off. I sprinted home. My childhood home. I had no idea if my parents would be there, if I had somehow ruined the timeline by leaving class too early. But when I pushed the door open, I saw them. My mom. My dad. Alive. The relief hit me so hard, I nearly collapsed. I grabbed my mother's arms, gripping her like she would disappear if I let go. Hey, what's wrong?" She laughed, ruffling my hair. "Bad day at school?" I almost started crying. That's when I realized this wasn't a dream. I had actually time leaped, and I was going to change everything. I saved my best friend from dying. I avoided every mistake I had made before. I became stronger, smarter. It worked. For the first time, I felt like I was in control. But then, the second leper appeared, and everything fell apart. I woke up back in the future, not the original timeline, the new one I had created. Everything seemed fine at first. My best friend was alive. My life was better. Then I checked my phone. I scrolled through my contacts. My name wasn't there. I blinked. No, that wasn't possible. My own name was missing. I checked my social media. No account. My school records. No enrollment history. It was like I had never existed. My stomach twisted. My head spun. I started to hyperventilate. This wasn't right. I had fixed everything. I had saved people. So why was I fading? I ran outside. My body felt light, hollow, wrong, like I wasn't entirely there. I called my best friend. He picked up. "Hello? Hey, it's me," I gasped, my voice shaky. A long pause. "Who?" I nearly dropped my phone. The blood in my veins froze. No. He was supposed to remember me. I had saved his life. "It's me. Don't you remember? We grew up together." More silence. Then, click. He hung up. I stared at my phone, feeling numb. I wasn't just being erased from the past. I was being erased from reality. It didn't make sense. I had changed the past. I had fixed everything. So why was my existence fading? There was only one explanation. Someone else was time leaping. Someone was erasing me. I had to go back again. I sprinted toward the train station, weaving through crowds of people who didn't recognize me. I shoved my way through the ticket gates, breathless. The same station where I first time leaped. I grabbed the metal railing at the edge of the platform, squeezing it tightly. This was my trigger. This was how I jumped. I closed my eyes. Nothing happened. I squeezed harder, heart pounding, still nothing. My breathing quickened. No. It always worked. This was how I went back. Then, a voice behind me. Cold. Calm. You won't be leaping anymore. I turned. A boy stood there. Someone I had never noticed before. Same school uniform. Same age. Same blank, empty expression. His voice was flat. Emotionless. You weren't supposed to notice me. And in that moment, I knew. He was the one erasing me. I grabbed his collar. What did you do? He didn't even flinch. His face was completely calm. You're not the only one fixing things, he said. I'm just cleaning up your mess. I clenched my teeth. My mess? His smile faded. Time doesn't belong to you, he muttered. You shouldn't have come back. The realization hit me. He wasn't saving people. He was undoing my changes. Every time I fixed something, he reset it. Every person I saved, he let them die again. Why are you doing this? I whispered. He tilted his head. Because you don't belong here, he said simply. You're an anomaly. Then, before I could react, he stepped onto the train tracks. The train was coming, a blinding wall of metal. It was about to hit him. But the moment it did, he vanished. Not hit, not crushed, just gone. Like he had never been there, like he had never existed. I stumbled backward. He wasn't just erasing my past, he was erasing himself too. I had to stop him, but every time I leaped back, he was always one step ahead. I saved my best friend. The next leap, he was dead again. I tried to warn people about the time leper. They forgot me the next day. I wrote everything down in a notebook. The next morning, the pages were blank. I was losing, and worst of all, my own memories were fading. I woke up one morning and couldn't remember my mother's face. The next day, I forgot my sister's name. Then, my own handwriting looked foreign. I checked my reflection in the mirror. For a second, I didn't recognize myself. That's when I realized he wasn't just erasing my past, he was erasing me. I had one chance. I had to go back before he started leaping. I triggered the leap and landed further back than ever before. The past felt wrong. The air was heavier, the streets were emptier, and then I saw him. But not the teenage version, a younger version of him, a child, and standing behind him, an older version of me. My breath caught. No, it wasn't possible. I wasn't the first. I wasn't the second. There had been another time leaper before us, and he had orchestrated everything. The older me stepped forward, his expression blank. Now you understand, he said. I shook my head. No, this doesn't make sense. You think this is your first loop? He interrupted. Cold fear spread through me. This is the 8th time you've tried to fix things, he continued. Each time you failed. So I sent someone back to erase your mistakes before you could make them. The younger time leaper stepped beside him. You were never meant to change the past, the older me said. You were meant to disappear. I stepped back. No, that's not true. I remember everything. I remember my past. Do you? He tilted his head. I tried to recall my mother's face. I couldn't. My name. You weren't supposed to see, he whispered. The world collapsed. I woke up. Not in the past, not in the present, just somewhere else. Alone. With no memories, no name. Just a single sentence echoing in my mind. You weren't supposed to see. And then, nothing. By the way, If you want to see more scary stories like this, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and sub button. It helps a lot. Until next time.